I have another idea, or let's not call it an idea, it's more of a brain fart. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the madness. So don't worry about the brain farts, they usually happen more often than they should. Like for instance, this W203 sleeper has the legendary M104 with a turbo. Also in the backyard we have that off-road death trap. And then onto my latest creation, the Project C400. Why C400? Well, it has the inline 6-cylinder 4-liter out of that Ford Falcon stuffed into this W203 body. Now I do apologize for the poor audio quality. This little microphone is not the best, but it does help a lot with wind noise because it is kind of windy today. But anyway, before we get into all of that and I explain to you why I'm doing this and how I'm going to be doing this, let me catch you guys up on what I've been doing these past couple of days. As we know, I took the C400 on its first test drive not too long ago, but there are a couple of things I need to sort out before we can take it on another test drive. Start over on the front of the car. So when I took it on its first test drive, the hood was actually open, wasn't latched because of this long freaking engine in there. I couldn't get the old latch in there, so I added these two hood latches. Obviously I had to keep that in mind with the first test drive. I think if I went over like 60 kilometers an hour, the hood would have flown open and ruined a lot of things. So now we have those two latches and it can't fly open. These are a bit old and crusty, so they don't work like they used to, but should be good. Only thing is, if we have some kind of fire, I don't know if I'll get it open quick enough. I mean, I did do the wiring myself, so anything is possible. Moving on to the interior. Ta-da! Yep, so I got the door cards only in the front back into the car. They don't look the best anymore, but it does look better than the naked door. And then these wood trimmings, I just got some carbon fibre on them to make them look a bit better. I do still have the window switches in the middle because we only have a driver's seat and I wanted to be able to control both sides. On the driver's side, the handle broke, so these handles, so that handle as well as that handle, are actually from the rear doors. Now they don't fit perfect, but hey, it'll work. Also, I don't have to spend a bunch of time remaking some door handles. So before I usually just had to pull the cable to get in and out, but now that's ready to go. I also got the strip back on there. Still need to get it painted, but we'll wait on that once I get into the paint and bodywork. Then furthermore, on the interior, I also added that little plate for the gearbox plug to go through. And that has to do with the whole goal of this video. So before, I just went ahead and cut holes where I wanted holes all willy-nilly, and I didn't think about the dust. I was eating a lot of dust. I don't think it picked up on camera, but it was super dusty in here. So the goal for this video was to seal up the interior, get all the grommets where they need to be because the sunroof does leak, so I need to pull the grommets for the water to go out. So that's what I've been doing these past couple of days. Got that gearbox plug sorted out, got a grommet in there for the wires to come through. And then another big hole was the gearbox tunnel, where the shifter comes through the gearbox tunnel. So I had to close that up the best that I could. And then when you look over in the driver's side, in the footwell, I also had to add 3 little plates over there to cover up the holes. Some of them were for the handbrake, where the handbrake cable went through and stuff like that. Just to show you on the driver's side, the carbon fiber sticker came out a lot nicer on this side. That's a little gross. It looks so much better with the door cards back on there. I don't know, I just like it a lot. The door feels more solid as well. Anyway, I think I got all the holes in the front, so we shouldn't have any dust coming into the car anymore. And then we had to move on to the back. So we had these, let me show you, these little breather things. I don't know, I think it's like for pressure release of the cabin when you close the door, stuff like that, but these are just nasty. What I did was add a little aluminium plate over there with some pop rivets, and then on this side as well. And then when you look inside the trunk, there was another drain plug hole over there, as well as over on that side, and then 2 back there. Let me just get this tail piece out of here, and the bracket for that. With all the smaller holes in the cabin sealed up, we have one big hole to still sort out. So you might be thinking, why did I remove the exhaust? Well, the thing is, I'm gonna have to move the exhaust. Probably my favorite part of the car was the exhaust, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to move the exhaust, because the thing is, with the exhaust coming out under the car and then going into the cabin and out through the number plate spot, it's going to be super difficult to get that sealed up and dust proof. And that's why I have this giant roll of rolled steel. It's 1 mil thick, and I need to cut a piece out and get this sealed up. And then moving the exhaust, I'm still going to keep with the center exhaust idea. So the exhaust is just going to move from over there to over there. And then, as you probably saw on the thumbnail, I want to try to build a rear diffuser for this car. The thing about making these videos is I have no idea where to get started on this, but I'll figure it out. I usually do. I think the plan for today is to completely seal up the cabin, so I need to cut a big piece of that to the shape of that hole. I do still need to remove some of this plastic or whatever this is, and then I'll use some self tappers to get that in, but I do need some silicone, so I'll have to run into town to get that, seal that up, and then we'll move on to the diffuser. Now there's still a lot of decisions I have to make, like for example the bumper. I'm thinking about trimming that up just a little bit, cutting a piece out of the bottom, but I'll show you that. And then I already got the bash bar removed at the back, so it's just lying over there. I'm not gonna reuse that. I'm thinking about building a new bash bar for the rear. My idea with that is to have like a center jacking point. That'll be super helpful and really nice to have. Like I said, still a lot of things I need to figure out for myself, but enjoy the video. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. It's a couple of days later. As you saw, I already got that piece cut out of the rear bumper. It wasn't easy to convince myself to do that, but hey, we are in this and we are doing this. Sometimes you have to risk it to get the biscuit. So ever since I got the front end bash bar and splitter bolt, I just knew I had to add something at the rear as well. So I already got started on two major pieces, one for the diffuser and then that bash bar with the jacking point. But usually I would jack up the car like this, get the jack under the differential and then jack it up like that. But with the exhaust that we'll be moving to this location, it's gonna be even more difficult to get it up in the air. So that's why I really want that jacking point at the back. And this is what I figured out thus far. So we'll be using the stock mounting points, and then I just got some angle iron and then some 40mm tubing that'll go in there like so. I am still going to add some support pieces, but for testing purposes, let's see if this works. Well, wheels are off the ground, it works. But like I said, I will add some support pieces, and then today I want to focus on getting the exhaust all finished up. Oh, and then I'll also still add this piece in there, and then the exhaust will come out in the middle over here. Don't worry about that. Another big piece of the puzzle is the top part of the diffuser. So let me get that in there and then I'll show you how that looks. Just like that. So we have the top piece of the diffuser with the jacking point coming through, and then we have a nice little lip sticking out so that has the same curvature of the bumper. And then when you look on the inside, we have that tube running across the bottom plate, and then we'll have that other plate sealing up the interior. The most difficult part for me is the measuring of the thing. So putting on the parts, taking them off, cutting, shaping. Look at that gap over there and then that gap over there. So yeah, that just takes me a while to figure out and get my head wrapped around. But I think I need to get the exhaust into its position so I can, or how to connect that up again. And then once I know its exact position, I will add this tube to the bottom part, so we'll have a nice place to get the jack on there. Honestly, I'm just figuring this out as I go, but so far so good. I'm happy with the progress. I think with a little more time and effort, we'll get all the puzzle pieces ready. For now, let's sort out the exhaust. Let's get that in position, start making some mounts, pie cuts, connect them, and then we'll move on from there. I'll tell you what, all that got really complicated really fast. So figuring out all the angles of all the tubes was kind of difficult and very time consuming, but I got it done. I also had to think about all the mounting points, stuff like that. So the top piece of the diffuser, I had to cut that into 2 pieces and then add some extra mounts on the bash bar. It's the next day and we have the bash bar ready for some paint. So I want to get some red paint onto that. I think that's going to look freaking sick, and then we'll throw that onto the car, see how it looks, get the exhaust back on there. I think that's about how far I'm going to get for this week's video. Ran out of time. A week is only that long, and I do post videos weekly, so make sure you are subscribed for that. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit that like button. But let's get this painted and on the car and check how the progress is looking. That looks so freaking cool. Okay, in the next video, I'll figure out the sides of the diffuser now that we have the bash bar completely done, and then we can finally get some paint onto everything. I'm just gonna do the diffuser in black, and then we should be done with that. And then we can finally move on to the bodywork and painting of the car's exterior. As you can see in this corner, I already got all the paint, all the primer, all the body filler. I'm going to use a lot of that, but I have everything ready to get that thing painted. Now that is going to take me a good couple of weeks. I'm sure I've never done anything to this extent, body wise or paint wise, but I'm going to have a go at it. But the thing is, I can't decide, should I take the car on another test drive, go out, have some fun with it, kind of beat on it, or should I just take this time, make it look good, and then we can go out while the car looks way better than it does now. I think with the paint job, that thing is going to look so good. But anyway, after painting, it'll look good, it'll look better on the videos. I'm just finding it hard to decide. I'm kind of overbuilding it. I've been building it now for like a year, so I'm ready to have some fun, and I'm sure you guys want to see that too. That is a lot more interesting than all of this fabricating stuff, but I guess only time will tell. Come back next week and then we'll see what we get up to. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you then.